beats, right?
Exactly.
And here we start with Danica Rock with the serve. Louisville running the two ball out of the middle with Blackshear.
A little bit of their bread and butter. We'll see a lot of that two ball to Blackshear in the middle. An absolutely beautiful pass off serve receive to start the match.
Libero Camden Schran, 5'7" junior from Villa Hills, Kentucky, to serve for the Cards. Strand with the dig. Cabello back to Blackshear again on the right side. Great touch from Yelland. Free ball to the Cards. Cabello back to Blackshear 3 times in a row to start the match with the freshman.
3 times to start the match. And if you see in the middle of that play, there was a little bit of an out-of-system ball that came over, then a free ball, both perfectly up to Cabello's hands on the net. It's beautiful ball control.
Peyton Peterson with the off-system swing on the outside. Both teams using a lot of right side offense. Great swing from Motts off the block. Or Ross, sorry.
And I think you'll see, if they keep her on the net tonight, she's very successful. Putting her at 10-foot, 8-foot line just creates an out-of-system play that isn't in her wheelhouse or any really outside attacker's wheelhouse. Like to be up on the net ripping.
Libero Brooklyn Yellen with the serve. Kara Cressy on the slide. Ross again able to go off the block for the kill.
Another high hand shot. I'll tell you what, that's the hardest shot in volleyball to defend, is attacking that block up high into the fingertips and hands of the blockers.
Blackshear out of the middle, kind of a 1.5 ball that time.
So, too, if you could see Cabello, I was a setter in my former life, so to watch the first contacts that she's receiving at the net right now makes her job a whole lot easier and able to pull a one-on-one block there for her attacker in the middle. It's beautiful.
Hannah Kenny with the ace. 5'8" freshman from Villa Park, Illinois. Just missed on the second.
Just missed, good aggressive serve. Maybe this is a good time to get that out of your system. I know serving is one of the key aspects that Coach Meskey has really wanted to work on this season, and to make sure that they're in a championship mode of serving from now until the end of conference.
Hannah Hoffman in and taking over setting duties for Boston College. Kara Cressy on the slide, hammered it line.
Hammered it, and that set was on the money, and you'll see here, Kara Cressy has the vision, complete full vision of the court there. The ball's in front of her, blocks a little bit late, and she just hammers it outside in the court.
A scoring issue pause here as Peyton Peterson waits to serve. We talked about Hoffman coming in to take setting duties for Boston College. Explain a little bit about the 6-2 offense, the difference for Boston College than what we're seeing from Louisville's setting.
Sure, so Boston College is always going to have a setter in the back court for them. So 2 setters will rotate through the 3 back row positions. So they'll consistently have 6 attackers for the entire match. Always an offensive threat up front from all 3 positions.
Hoffman right on cue to the middle.
Nice. So talking about the 6-2, in system, it can be a really dangerous system to defend because you constantly have 3 attackers coming at you. So when the ball's in system, it puts a little bit more pressure on your block. There you could see they were able to create a little one-on-one situation in the middle for the kill.
Cabello with a fantastic jump set to the pin.
One thing I've noticed watching Louisville this season, even Cabello last season, she takes the ball from such a high contact point, and as a blocker, and especially a middle blocker, it's so hard to see where she's going to deliver the ball until she actually releases it. So watching her contact point would be a good key for tonight.
Ava Utterback in to serve for Louisville, potential future outside hitter, mostly coming in as a serving specialist so far this preseason.
Love to see it. There's the difference of your 5'1" and your 6'2" that you were talking about, Steph. And
there's your high contact
there's
point.
my high contact point. Yeah. Beautifully executed.
Utterback just missed wide on the sideline with her serve.
You know, Cabello has been a 6'2" setter her entire career, so the first time ever being a 5'1" setter. And I don't think, you know, just because you're a setter doesn't mean you know how to attack. Most 6'2" setters, that's the difference usually that I've seen over the years is really training them to be an offensive threat at the net as well.
And the difference setting a slide. When there's a 6'2", you can't run the slides like we just saw from Sherman. The jump setting, the athleticism from Cabello really helps open that up.
Absolutely.
Cabello back to serve now, so she will be a back row setter. Yellen across to the right side on the off system set.
A little tough. Again, you'll see that out of system set was at around the 10-foot line. It's just a little bit hard to attack out of system when you're that far off the net.
Great pass. Misconnection there between Hoffman and Roach.
You know, I would say with Roach and Hoffman have had a pretty good connection here recently too. Roach hitting 395 right now on the season is just an impressive mark as a middle. Typically in system when you're receiving the ball, so you should be having a high percentage, but hitting 395 is incredible.
Long serve from Mott. And you talked about the connection with your middle. Boston College has also used 3 different setters this year with some injury stuff, running the 6'2", some differences in lineups, and that can make it tougher for that setter-middle connection.
It really can, and I would say that would be the one drawback of a 6'2", right, is that as the setter, you have so many responsibilities on the court. When you're in there for 3 rotations and you have to come out, it just changes the flow of the game and your responsibilities as a setter. You know, and then the pros are you get all the attacking. So it really just is, it depends on what fit the team has for the system that's being run.
While we were talking middles, Hannah Sherman threw down a block. Great touch there. Chacoin steps in, brings off-system ball to Blackshear. Free ball for the Louisville offense. Good connection between Cabello and Sherman. Another free ball for the Louisville offense. And Cabello working the connection with Sherman, but great block from Cornelia Roach.
Yeah, and what I like out of Cabello is she's not afraid to repeat to her attackers. So Sherman doesn't score on the first time. She goes right back to her to try to free her up. And, you know, didn't score that point, but that's okay. I think that builds confidence in your teammates. Hey, I didn't score the first time, but my setter's coming right back to me. So Sherman, you know, will be ready right away here.
Louisville with the 13-7 lead on the missed serve. Boston College back to the right side. Kill from Anna Harrington.
Such a great high swing, and you know, not only was it high, but Cabello's back row right now, so you go high back into that right corner, put a little pressure to take your setter out of system. Is just a great shot.
Another perfect ball right on Cabello's head. Kill from Blackshear.
As you watch Blackshear come in, she's pretty wide open there with that one-on-one attack, and with that tempo of a ball, a 2 ball we say, just about 2 feet up above the net. She has time to go up, see the block, and make a decision to hit around it.
Boston College off-speed shot from Harrington. Great power swing down the line. 2 touches from the Boston College defense on that kill from Peyton Peterson. Louisville's up 15-8 as we go to timeout. Radio show yesterday, first one in history for Dan Meske, and one of the things that he talked about was wanting to get his team back up over that 300 hitting percentage. Right now, hitting 500 as a team. High swing going for hands there was Aubrey Ross.
Yeah, I think that's in that situation. That's a good swing there. Take a high rip against a pretty solid block over here. It's not a bad shot.
Ross again. Cabello with the jump set slide. Kara Cressy off the block.
And there it is, Steph. You could see the tip that Cabello had early.
Kenny with the serve. A double contact here, which we don't get to see very often anymore. However, when there's actually two contact, that is when it gets called.
Correct. Nice high swing there. And you could see again, first contact really puts pressure on the blocking. We talked about 2 incredibly strong blocking teams, but when you're in system, it makes the job of the middle blocker especially, and everyone else, makes it incredibly difficult. I think Harrington just had a beautiful swing there, just chopping high hands, quick swing out of bounds.
Hoppes and Hoffman enter as part of the Boston College 6-2, and Cressy on another slide, taking that one cross.
And you know what I love about Cressy's slide, and you had talked about it, Steph, this is really a new skill set for her, something new being in the 5-1. She can hammer cross, she can absolutely hammer line, she can hammer offline. She has so many options according to what her block's showing her.
Ross with a good line swing, dug by Kenny. Back to down. A good variation of shots there.
I think absolutely. Ross went up, took a good high shot down the line, came in again with a really nice setup on the net, went back to go for a swing and drops it just over the block into the middle of the court, which is just a really vulnerable spot when you're in a perimeter defense.
Allie Nat into the match. Chicoine to rip from the outside down the line. Big swing from Sequoia Lane, but a bigger block from Cressy and Cabello.
That block was very big, as you said. Pretty difficult. You're not going to go through that thing. You know, you never want to avoid a block as an attacker, but you really have to attack it in specific areas where it's its weakest. High into the hands, high into the seam, but you're not getting through that block, that's for sure.
Boston College goes to the right side, but ball off the antenna from Hoppes.
Yeah, I think the set was a little bit tight in the inside. Difficult for the attacker to get to. You know, I don't know Boston College system, so I don't want to say that it was an incorrect set, but looked like she had a little bit of trouble getting her feet there to get to that tight inside set.
Hutter back with the ace down the sideline. We will have our first challenge of the night as Lane is asking Coach Kennedy to challenge, and he does.
Utterback's done a really nice job this season coming in and acting as a serving specialist in the backcourt, and you mentioned Steph being in the pipeline as a future outside attacker for this Louisville program. I know then you would be able to keep that challenge.
I love that rule change from the original year with the challenges. Love that you get to keep it.
No question, a much needed change.
If I'm right, I earned it.
Absolutely. My next rule is if it's inconclusive, I feel like the coach shouldn't lose the challenge.
That's true too. I like that. Great swing cross court from Hoppus.
Great swing. Great heat all the way to the sideline. Definitely tough to defend when you're hitting that outer 5 feet of the court, anywhere on the court.
Louisville leading 22-11. Savannah Curtis, freshman from California, enters the game to serve. Peyton Peterson with a rare, not perfect pass from the outside hitter. Quick set, fast tempo offense there from Boston College. Lane able to finish at the pin.
You know, and the out of system play here, if you see the setters right up to the net to be able to deliver to Lane. And a shot that was ripped by Chicoine, but the setter able to really put Lane up on the net. Again, high hands, deep corner. It's just nearly impossible to defend.
Chicoine a little mistimed on the swing there. Lefty Hoppes just missed wide on her cross-court shot.
What happens with Chicoine's shot, too, if you can see, she took the outside hitter out of play, so it makes it much easier for the block to know exactly where Boston College is going to go with the set. Outside's out of play, so it has to go the middle or right side. So you saw a closed block there on that play.
Outside, back to Lane. Cabello right at the net, chooses to go outside to Chicoine, and she opens up her toolbox and finds a way to score.
Yeah, I would love to see a dig chart right now on U of L of where the digs are landing on the court, because they're all about 8 feet dead center of the court. Beautiful first contacts.
Set point for Louisville. Sherman with a great block touch. Strand with the second ball. Lane's gonna take the swing. Dig by Strand. Back row attack from Peyton Peterson. Great dig from Yelland. Lane with another attempt. Good hustle play from the Louisville defense. Got the crowd on their feet. Wide on the swing from Camilla Roach. And Louisville will take the first set. It did teach them how to win and how to bounce back after a set and still be able to finish a match.
Absolutely, and you have to finish too when you are dealing with injuries. You're dealing with players that are in and out. It does, tell you a little bit about your team. Who can step up and fill unexpected roles? How can you come together and kind of fit the pieces of the puzzle to be competitive and win? And they certainly found a way to do that in non-conference. Big swing out of the middle right there.
Cornelia Roach with the kill.
Really swinging well on this season, a graduate middle for BC that has stepped into a fun role for them and found a big role this year as a graduate player for them.
Misserve there, but as a coach, would you say that that was a positive misserve, as it was very aggressive, flat, just hit the tape?
If you're going after it, I think that plays into the momentum we've talked about, even as your teammates. If you're doing your best not to miss and you miss, and it's not a great aggressive serve on it, really can kind of change the dynamic.
And we talked about the defense and the serving really is what have gotten Boston College to this point so far in the season, starting the season with that 11-0 start.
Absolutely. Their only loss was to Bryant, 5-set loss. Also beat Arkansas in 5, so a really great win.
High swing from Harrington on the right side, successful. Lane checks in again, and Hoffman takes over setting duties. Back row attack from Rock. Cabello out to Peterson. Strong shot right off the middle of the block from Peyton Peterson.
And there's that repeat set again, right? Peterson doesn't score on her first attack. Nice chop shot down the line. Still gives BC an opportunity to come back at him, and Cabello repeats to Peterson for the kill. Gotta love that out of your setter.
Peterson with the serve. Three here in set two.
Ooh, I do have to say, Steph, as a coach, the missed serves on both sides.
Hey, but if you're gonna have them, how about at 3-3 early in the set?
1000%. I agree. I think it's like a Pavlov's dog reaction, right? That reaction just happens and turns in your stomach on a missed serve.
And how come they're contagious? How come it's always both sides of the net?
I don't know. I had the answer to that.
Good cover from Lane.
Set. Going to the back row a little bit more now, the end of the first set, and back to Peterson again here to start the second set. I tell you, her vision attacking front row and back row is really just incredible. It's almost like she goes up, waits, sees the block, and then takes a rip.
Peyton Peterson's mom, Bobby, head coach at UNI, and it really, you can see the kid that's grown up in the gym and just has an off-the-charts volleyball IQ.
Absolutely. All right, that vision doesn't just happen. That comes from playing over and over and over again.
And Boston College again successful off the right side. We saw Lane taking swings from the left side in set one. Now she's playing on the right. Chacoin flying for the kill from the outside, over the block.
Absolutely flying. We're about, what do you think, maybe 20 feet from the court, Steph, and it looked like she could have touched the rafters right there on that swing.
And the noise and the power. Yeah. And we talked about the IQ from Peyton Peterson, the athleticism from Chacoin. Not that Chacoin lacks volleyball IQ, but very similar outside hitters, but a little bit different in their type of play and ways that they score. Peterson's such a great passer, but also has 128 kills in those 10 matches and already leading the way tonight.
So impressive, and I think it is important to know, as an attacker, what kind of attacker you are. Are you a hammer? Are you good with your wrist? Is it high hands that you're really good at in seeing the block? It's important to know that.
Blackshear classifies as an over-the-block power hitter.
Hammer, yes. I would consider the Blackshear hammer. And only a freshman, right? It's going to be fun to watch her develop and grow into her role on the team.
And her reach and the length, the angles that she creates are just unstoppable.
Great high hands again there.
Ball was called in, block from Sherman out of the middle, able to snag this 31 ball. Right there, that's a true double block off of Sherman and Blackshear.
There's the speed from Peyton Peterson, too. We mentioned her having good vision, being able to see and take shots around the block, but she can also put some heat on it. Just a really talented, talentedly skilled volleyball player. Fun to watch.
We see freshman Marjanovic here in for Boston College. Again, trying a little bit different. She's playing on the right side. Harrington swinging on the left there, trying to go off the block. Ball's finished in another block from Blackshear, and Sherman leads over 300.
Yeah, and only one attack error so far in a set and a half is really impressive. For me, what it is, it's that first contact. You put your setter in a position to be able to create splits in the block. We had another hammer at the net for Peterson there as well.
Peterson with her 5th kill of the night. Fastball finding the middle. Cabello with a super athletic set. Peyton Peterson attempts to recycle the ball off the block, but no coverage in sight for Louisville.
Big block for BC right there. It was an incredibly athletic set. She pulled the middle there, and Roach jumped with her and sent the ball outside for a one-on-one, but maybe just a little bit tight on the set, that's all. Incredible
Boston College freshman Marjanovic back to serve again. Mott sends the ball outside. Cabello back to Blackshear. Great dig, good hustle from Yelland. Chacoin again delivered that ball right to Cabello's head at the net.
Yeah, essentially not much of a block there too. I think the BC did a good job that first ball. They had 2 up on Blackshear. They knew that it was going to be in the center or somewhere to her, and then just a little bit late out there to finish on Peterson.
Eagles libero Yelland back to serve. Louisville with the 12-7 advantage here in the second. Great pass from Peterson, right in system. And the Cressy slide is blocked.
Yeah, and Ross caught that with one hand. It was just her left hand up there at the net. She dropped over, got it over the net pretty fast to grab that ball.
And
She
look
looks
at
a little
the
surprised.
celebration
She
that
looks a little surprised herself, yeah. That was a nice play. Whether planned or not, she did a nice job there.
Cressy hitting 750 tonight, so there hasn't been much stopping that Cressy offense. But what a way to get back in the game for Boston College with blocking. We talked about their focus on defense, and blocking is the way to do that. Correction, that was a Louisville point.
Yeah, and actually I didn't see the call either. I'm guessing it was a little bit of a net on the block. I was right there with you on that block for BC. Ace. All right, I like that a little bit better.
When you get the aces, then the errors are kind of made up for. About, a lot of times we hear like a 1-to-1 ratio. What do you think in a tough serving match, what do you think that ratio should be?
I think it's fair to even say 1 to 1.5. You know, I think that's okay to say that. Because you really do. I mean, you have to get after it. And the longer you go in conference play, there's no keeping a serve in play. Probably do need to be at that 1 to 1.5 ace to error ratio and put a little bit of the pressure on the opponent to have to side out.
Another high swing from Harrington on the right. Peterson throws an off-speed shot in for the kill.
It's a great mix-up for her swings, and when you're in a 6-2, you're always going to have a setter in that right back position, so to challenge the setter there on defense, even if she gets the dig, she's then out of the play.
Kenny with a great dig on the Harrington right side swing. Ball is out. Overruled, line judge overruled, called in from the R1 on the tip. Ehrlich on the kill.
That was pretty close, I would say, of any situation. He has a pretty good view right there. Otherwise, it's pretty tough. There's Cressy with the line slide swing. We talked about her versatility on the slide and being able to hit all different angles. And you had mentioned earlier, too, I think it was about Blackshear, at the angles that she reaches. The angles that Cressy reaches, they're just incredibly difficult to defend when you have someone's reach at the height it is and the angles that it's coming down to as a defender.
And hard to emulate in practice if you don't have players 6'5", 6'6" that you're defending against daily.
Absolutely.
Peterson with another tip shot over the block, causing some chaos for the Boston College defense. Peterson back to serve, Louisville up 18-9 in the second. Peterson herself hitting 571 tonight with 9 kills already.
And think of how many of those kills came from different types of swings.
Block from Lane.
Chicoine coming in hard and fast. A little bit of a tough shot. The set's inside and she goes up to turn it back down the line, and Lane has the ball completely surrounded on her.
And credit to Ehrlich there for getting closed and having Chicoine turn that ball back line. Out of rotation call here against Louisville. Louisville had gotten a little out of sorts, and Schrand and Kenny, I believe, were in the wrong positions in the back row. Ball again right to Cabello's head. Cressy misses wide on the swing for her second hitting error.
And I think the only thing to sharpen into, right, there's no sense of urgency or anything that needs to be felt right now, but when you hit 18, really probably should be looking to clean up any errors at that point and try to finish the set error-free. So I think you'll see Louisville clean things up here for the rest of the set.
Chicoine with a big high swing. Lane, great swing, high off the block of Cressy and Chicoine.
Great high swing, just lots of transition work here too in this play. Lane goes up, chops the outside left-handed Chicoine out of bounds.
And Lane able to match the physicality of the Louisville front row. A block from the freshman coming in and making a difference on the outside. And Ehrlich, again, working really hard pin to pin to close these blocks.
Absolutely. You know, I would say all four middles right now, you know, you watch them blocking their transition off the net. It really, there's a lot of work going on out here with these middles.
They don't always get enough credit for everything that they do. Just anchoring that defense and then being the ones that have to constantly be first tempo in offense.
Absolutely. You know, the hardest job blocking, really probably setting up the block, organizing it, but having to watch all three attackers all at once, then landing and immediately getting off and having the fastest tempo sets of anyone in the office, on the offense.
Boston College with a 4-point run there.
It's tough, and you know, sometimes I think just a miss at this point in this set is a little bit tough because you can feel that momentum shift, and that's one of the hardest things in volleyball. I feel like there's no number that you can put on it. There's nothing down on paper that can tell you momentum, but everyone in the arena can kind of feel that in any match that you're a part of, and you don't want to lose any sort of momentum that you have, so that you can put your stamp on the match and take care of business.
Curtis with the serve. Sherman on the slide.
Sherman really seems to, over the season, as short as it has been so far, really gained some confidence with this slide and hitting different shots. I also think credit to Cabello for being able to repeat sets throughout the season, right? She's not going to go away from her attackers on one error. She's going to repeat and keep their confidence up.
Chicoine over the top of the block with maybe a 60% power shot.
Yeah, 60%. I think Lane's just a little bit late there. You know, gives Chicoine a little bit of a better vision to be able to hit high over her outside in the court. Very difficult shot to defend, but maybe just a little bit. Very calm, collected, and composed player.
Another quote from the Dan Meskey radio show was that Peyton Peterson was an egg he hadn't cracked yet, as far as her being always being stoic and just ready to play the next point.
I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that comment. Hey, if she plays like this, don't crack her. Just let her keep playing. Figure her out after graduation.
Lucy Mott. Good tip from Harrington. Hustle play from Boston College. Harrington has to bring a free ball right to Cabello's head. Chicoine with the high swing, longest line of the court, scores in the corner.
Yeah, Chicoine gives herself that second opportunity. She didn't like the first set that she got, put it on Mott, the setter in the back row for BC, made BC play out of system and gave herself another opportunity to take a rip.
slide from Harrington. Harrington again. Cabello back to Blackshear, high swing, great dig from Mott. Another dig from Mott, but you talked about Boston College's setters having to do a lot of the digging duties right now. Very intentional offense from Louisville.
Absolutely, I would say that's probably part of the game plan. You know, we don't know their game plan, not certain, but I would say when we're in a 6-2, right, we're playing against a 6-2, make those setters play as much as possible because the team's automatically going to be out of system, so you set your defense up for a little more success.
Block on the outside, Sherman and Blackshear, the tandem again, pairing up for Blackshear's third block and Sherman's fourth. Blackshear cross, another dig from Mott. Great swing from freshman Markonovich.
Great high swing. You saw a little changeup of serve there from Chicoine to try to go a little bit short. I think a lot of the serving from Louisville tonight has been pretty similar, flat with speed. So it's interesting to see a little changeup on the serving there.
Set point for Louisville. Peyton Peterson off the block for her 10th kill tonight. Louisville takes set 2, 25. Leading the way with a .625 hitting percentage.
That's amazing.
Boston College leads us off here. Rock to serve. Net violation during the 2-ball hammer from Chloe Chicoine.
Oh, what about that switch up too? They brought Chicoine around for the 2-ball in the middle instead of Blackshear. A little bit of a different view there from that rotation. I like it. I like the switch up.
And one of the things that I think the Dan Meskey era brings is a little more creativity. We talked about he used to be in charge of the defense, now taking over the offensive duties and kind of play calling for Louisville. And I think that's something he really enjoys, is making the game fun.
Definitely making it fun and very interesting rotation setups in a couple of rotations. Another kill for Blackshear right in the split of the seam. Took a little bit of heat off that, just went up with her length and snapped it straight to the ground.
And speaking of making the game fun, we saw Coach Meskey there just really eating this up and enjoying the moments on the sideline. Fun to watch. Mott with a great set back to Harrington, hammers the ball line. Harrington's been a bright spot for Boston College tonight.
She really has. In this swing, on watching on the replay, she has a lot of line to hit, but just absolutely executes it. And if you're going to hit at a defender, you have to rip it like that in order to score. So what a picture-perfect swing.
Yelland with the serve, but into the net. It was the 7th serving error for Boston College, but 8 for Louisville as well. So we talked about the ratio being that 1 to 1.5 on your own side. Is there ever comparison to how many points the other team gave you in return, or do you try not to go there?
I think that's a little bit tough. I think maybe you're looking more at like reception errors to your serving errors. You could do like a little combo there, but I think it's so important to control your own half of the court and what you're doing with your serving. It just is such a crucial element to the game. And really, you talk about hitting, it doesn't have to be an ace, right? At the highest level, you're not going out and picking off aces against other teams, but if you can put them out of system or in a tough predicament, right, it's a really good serve.
A lift called there on the hustle play from Cabello. That's the flip side of the aggressive serving. Hoffman was able to clip the tape. Tough ball to pick up from Louisville. Strand with a great pass on that one. Another 2-ball out of the middle, blocked from Ehrlich. Peterson just long on the shot to middle back.
Rare miss. Let's see. Does it repeat out to Peterson? What do you think, Steph? That's my guess. I think she lets her take another rip here.
That seems to be Cabello's play calls for tonight. There you go.
And she takes care of business. You know, it's such a, you can't explain what a confidence builder that is on the court. You know, when you're doing well or struggling, to have a setter that says, hey, coming right back at you and you take care of business, that will build trust over the length of the season and really create strength on a team.
Also helps when that hitter has 12 kills and is hitting 500 for the night.
You're right about that. Feed the beast, they say. Feed the beast.
Lane with an attack air. Louisville up 5-4 early in set 3. Peyton Peterson with the highlight overpass swing. Those ones are fun.
That was really fun. And very loud. What a hammer. There's a momentum shifter there. That will bring all the momentum to your side.
Missed just wide from Ehrlich.
I like that swing. You know, she picked a great angle. She went up with great heat and just barely missed.
And is it because of a blocker like Kara Cressy there that you just missed that? You push it an extra 6 inches or even 2 inches around that block and end up just wide of the board?
Absolutely. I think that's a little bit what I mentioned earlier is you have Cressy in front of you. You can't avoid her. You're not going to avoid her. So once you start avoiding, then you do miss the court. You can attack her. You have to attack her in the right spot. So I think maybe she avoided just a little bit on that shot and barely missed.
Peterson back to serve, brings Chacoin front row for the Cardinals, leading 7-5. Lane from the right side. There is exactly what you're talking about, just attacking that block or attacking the size difference in the block with Cressy blocking next to Chacoin.
Yeah, and Lane's taken some really nice swings on the right side these last 2 sets. I like her swings over there, and she plays outside as well, but I really like those right side swings.
4 kills from Lane and the second kill tonight from Cabello. Not quite as intentional as the first one we saw, but sometimes when a hustle play pays off, it's fun.
Absolutely. I always say a kill's a kill, right? They don't write in the record book how you got it. Kill's a kill. Mark it down in the books.
Utterback with an ace.
Okay, so there's the change up in the serve, right, Steph? So Utterback has been hammering flat with speed. And then she drops it there, a little drop serve, like the bottom just fell out of the ball.
And not Utterback. We have Molly Wilson that checked in. The blonde hair got me. Molly Wilson comes in with a serve. Wilson, what a great story. She's a true setter, but has joined this Louisville program as a graduate student and can jump on for setting duties when needed, but also as a serving specialist there, coming on with the ace.
Yeah, coming on with ace. The drop ace that we were just saying came in and dropped it right in.
Louisville up 11-6.
We'll see what the block does now in transition with Cabello dumping those last 2 plays.
And Molly Wilson's going to serve here again for the Cardinals. Talk about what she means to this team.
Yeah, a setter. And so a setter that transfers in as a graduate and such a great leader on the team that Coach Meskey has talked about. And, you know, she's playing a little bit of a different role here, coming in off the bench, expected to serve at a high level. If you're coming in as a serving sub, you're expected to score points. So I think the composure and the leadership that shows, it's a tough role to be in, and for anyone that has to come off the bench and serve. So just a really great transfer that Louisville has added to the roster.
And you saw the graphic that Louisville added Chacoin and Molly Wilson this year from the transfer portal after losing a lot of their firepower last year, mostly through graduation, and PK took a position at UCLA for grad school. But these have been 2 fantastic additions to the roster for Louisville through the transfer portal.
Yeah, and it's interesting. You know, Dan talked about definitely a touch. Dan talked about just the depth as good as it's ever been. Sherman goes up and hammers the slide just like we had talked about. She barely chipped the fingers on the block there. Such a great play. But the depth that Coach Meskey has talked about, you know, a Wilson and a Chicoine add to that. Tremendous depth, and he said it's better than it's ever been. So
Boston College double subbed here to try to stop this Cardinal run. Setter Lucy Mott is in the front row now for the Eagles. Great sharp cross shot. And with no libero in the game to pick up that second ball, Louisville, a bit of a miscommunication on a great dig.
Yeah, really great dig. Really the only angle that could have been hit right there. It was a little bit of a tough set. She had one way to go, great dig, and then just, like you said, a little bit of confusion. But
and that great angle again from freshman outside hitter Marjanovic. Blackshear back in the game for Louisville. Cabello back row with serving duties. Louisville up 15-7 in the third set. Peterson put the ball up high, and Blackshear is able to swing, but the block hits her in the shoulder. Solo block there from Ross on the outside.
all right, we'll test my theory here on the repeat set. There it is.
Are you ruining Louisville's scouting report right now? Are you giving it away? Great dig in the back row and good hustle.
I think the good thing about Cabello, my guess, is once someone starts figuring it out, she'll have another level to jump up to.
Louisville looking to close it out in 3 here, finishing the third set. We talked in the second set, this is where the little bit of a mental lapse came from Louisville. Started with the out of rotation, a couple hitting errors, missed serves. What are you looking for here as a coach as you want to finish this third set?
Yeah, and late in the set, I think that happened. So, you know, being engaged over a full match is really difficult, right? And I think it's practice. You know, the more that you're in those situations, you're learning. And I always said as a coach, the one thing that we couldn't teach is experience, right? Like, you can't teach experience. You have to learn as a player yourself being out there on the court. So,
and as you talk about experience, Ava Utterback entered the game for the Cardinals, replacing Peyton Peterson for some experience as an outside hitter. Coach Jason Kennedy from
this growth just over the season, not until next year. From the start of conference till middle of conference, and even the end of conference, there's going to be tremendous growth.
And while Dan Meskey has been with this program for a long time through most of their successes, it is different being in that head coach spot as well, and it's a change for the team and the team dynamic.
Yeah, definitely. All right, it is a change, and I think it's a nice change because as a player, you know what to expect. But things do change. He's got to put his own mark on it. He's going to put his own personal touch to things, and there will be some stuff that he changes and makes his own, and that will be the learning curve.
Boston College went after Utterback there in server seed, nailed the pass, but to your credit, Cabello always trying to get the hitters in action, gives this ball right back to Utterback, and she's blocked by Ehrlich.
Yeah, Ehrlich just doing a nice job with her hands, dropping right in the seam there for the stuff.
Utterback with another great pass. Good touch from Strand, but kill from Harrington on that right side.
Yeah, we've really seen Harrington bring the heat tonight. She rips down the line. She just ripped high into the seam there. So bringing in a lot of heat for BC's team. I know that's something Coach Kennedy had talked about, is just that kill production, and she's definitely doing that.
Ace from Yellen. And you talked about spreading out the offense a little bit for Boston College. Harrington with 5 of the kills. Ross with 4 and Lane with 4. I think that will be a positive coming out of tonight. Maybe not the number. I think you'd like those numbers to be closer to double digits, but the ability to spread the offense and find success from multiple players.
Definitely. I think they have some really great tools. You know, just error management a little bit is going to help BC.
And on the flip side, 7th kill from Blackshear on that 2-ball out of the middle. That one a little bit higher than we've seen some of the other ones.
Yeah, and puts her hand on it and throws it straight to the ground. I'm a big fan of the tips that just go straight to the ground and end the play right then and there.
Hard to defend. 7th kill from Blackshear, 9 for Chloe Chicoine, and 13 from Peterson, leading both sides. Louisville keeping that hitting percentage at .395, over 300 for a few more matches, preferably strung together, was one of Dan Meskey's goals.
Definitely, and you're looking at, 10 total attack errors, roughly 3, a little over 3%. That's a good spot to be sitting.
Louisville subbing in Molly Urban here to serve, causing a little chaos at the scores table, a slight delay as she's subbing in to serve for a middle, I believe, where the libero would be.
Correct, yes.
Urban is a junior DS from Martinsville, Indiana. Has only played 3 sets this far this season, but does have an ace and a dig.
Yeah, Molly, a great little libero out of Indiana, and good experience for her as well.
Great serve, corner to corner. Utterback ripped down the line for a clean kill.
Yeah, just, I love that shot that just goes kind of outside the block back into the court. Visually, as a defender, it's so difficult to see that. So see how it goes on the outside
with some
of Harrington's arms right back into the court.
Wilson misses, or Urban misses. 2 mollies. 3 mollies tonight when you joined the party.
That's rare. That is rare. I once had 3 mollies on staff. Pretty impressive. Yeah. Pretty impressive.
Could have gotten confusing in the gym once in a while.
Confusing. Good thing I went by coach.
Hannah
that eliminated
Hoffman
one of them.
back to serve for us. Utterbeck off the block. Great dig from Hoffman. Back to Utterbeck again. Great reach from Utterbeck. She's kind of a mix between Peterson and Chicoine on the way she swings.
Yeah, and watch BC again here. They're going into a little bit of a rotation defense. So you see the setter come charging up a little bit, staying a little bit more shallow, middle back rotating to the line and changing the defense, which exposes that middle back position. And Utterbeck executed beautifully.
Louisville leading 21-13 deep in the third. Lane with a high hand swing. Again, not avoiding the block of Cressy.
No, and going flat. If you could see that, if she would have missed the block, it would have hit the back hangover there of the upper deck. Just a high flat shot, and such a great shot that I wish more of our younger players would learn that everything doesn't have to be hammered inside that 10-foot, the 3-meter line. That high and flat is just a beautiful shot.
Nat with the serve. Chicoine with a great pass. Cressy on the slide outside the block.
Outside the block, down the line with heavy heat.
And look at the size of her approach. She is well behind the 10-foot line on that transition and gaining momentum and power as she goes. Utterback back to serve. Lane takes something off of it. Great flying dig from Strand. Alana Bankston enters the game and gets a kill, hitting 1,000.
So watch this transition. Bankston gets off the net quickly, up, high and flat again into the block. Sends that ball deep off the back line for the kill. Another big kill, overpass. Bankston hammers it down to end the play.
Bankston, a junior from Omaha, Nebraska.
And that's a really nice swing. You know, you would think if you're just the casual viewer that that's an obvious, easy play, right? An overpass lofted up to the net and you get to hammer it in. But it actually takes a lot of focus and that in-the-moment composure to be able to take care of the ball and end the play.
And timing.
And timing.
Utterback just misses. Louisville at 24-15. Match point here will be served. Savannah Curtis trying to keep Boston College alive here deep in the third. Hannah Kenny currently taking setting duties for the Louisville offense. Schran puts it on Kenny's head. Bankston with the swing. Reese Robbins with the block. Bankston with a solo block to finish. Louisville takes Boston College 3-0. What did we learn tonight about these teams going into finish ACC conference play?
Well,